Right. Welcome back to my channel. This is Manix Trading Channel. This channel is dedicated to showing my setup using ICT lens view. So I kind of like to see price on the higher time frame trade into old highs and old lows, into fair value gaps, inversion fair value gaps, as those are the things that cause market to move higher and lower. So let's dive into this content of today. We can see obviously the price entered into this old relatively equal highs. Then we can see that price begin to react off from there. This is GBPJPY on a 3-month time frame. If you are new to this channel, please do well to like, to subscribe, and to share. It will go a long way to help this channel grow. Alright, so having said that, I said I love seeing price at old highs and old low and taking my favorite opportunities from there. So you would have imagined that, oh, this place has been consolidating and then there's not so much for me here. We want to go to the lower time frame to see opportunities, so to say. So we'll dive into the 1 month time frame to see if there's anything that would have helped us. So we can see here that price after the old high I tagged in, it created a fair value gap and price has just been moving back and forth inside the fair value gap. Alright, so we can see a fair value gap lower. This is an old low here, expecting price to come into these areas. But then we'll check lower time frame because there are not so much candles here to trade off from. This is a monthly time frame, so we'll go on to the lower time frame to see check if there are other things that could help us take trade better. So we're heading down to the weekly time frame. So here is the weekly time frame. You can see a fair value gap formed there. This is the old highs, our price entered into it and stops like that. So we can see a fair value gap. So I just want to draw attention to the recent price movement. Now, situations like this, I usually love seeing price, on a weekly time frame, having a fair value gap, just as it is here, and then an old low or a rejection block. I love seeing this kind of setup. Price forming a fair value gap and then price trying to enter into an old low. So in this case, this kind of a rejection block, like just as ICT would have defined it, it's a kind of rejection block. A candle here and then like a rejection block comprised of 3 candles, such that the 2 candles are like above a candle. Like this is the first candle of the rejection, but this is the second, and then this is the third. So I usually love to see how price will trade around the opening here, the midpoint, and then the low. So at the midpoint of this rejection block, we can see that price did something very specific. So price trade into the midpoint of this rejection block, and then we can see that price begin to trade higher into this fair value gap. So these are kind of trades I like to take, obviously. So we'll go on to the daily time frame to see what levels would have helped us and what are those things we want to see in the price to help us take this trade. Now we'll go to the daily time frame. Now here is the daily time frame, and then you can actually see another rejection block from the rejection block we saw on the higher time frame. another rejection block forming here, and we can see that price actually retraced into those area and then did something specific. And those are the things that's what I really like markets doing. And that thing is, after it has traded into the rejection block area, we can see that a daily time frame fair value gap was invalidated. That's my trade. So the invalidation occurred, when was this? 20th of January, that was Monday. 20th of January, the invalidation occurred. On the Tuesday, price came back into it, retraced into it, and then you can see that today, being Wednesday, price is still gyrating higher into this fair value gap and into these relatively equal highs inside the fair value gap. So I really love this kind of trade setup when I see them. They're like what I want to trade. So price on the weekly time frame hit a rejection block, break through a daily fair value gap, and then you see price retrace into the fair value gap, inversion fair value gap form, and then trading higher. So these are kind of trade I like taking. Very, very important for me. So I wouldn't have taken this trade on the daily. I would have gone to lower time frame to check some other things that would have helped me take the trade with reduced risk. Meanwhile, if I was going to take this trade on the daily time frame, such as this, I would have really want to take the trade at the midpoint of this inversion fair value gap. Can we see that? So we can obviously see that price went straight in, even beyond it, and then begin to drive higher. Then where will my stop loss be? It will rather be here, which will be a rather large, this low here that is formed. It will be a rather large stop loss, or I would have just put it right below this candle that caused the invalidation of the fair value gap. I would have put my stop loss at the low of the bullish candle and then see price drive higher. So that was how I would have taken this trade and my stop loss on this, and then my take profit would have been at this fair value gap. Inside this fair value gap here would have been my take profit. I would prefer that. So down to the 4 hours time frame. So what can we see here? We can actually see the old low. No, not old low, now a rejection block. And then we can see on the 4 hour time frame, price broke this inversion fair value gap, the fair value gap, making it an inversion fair value gap. And then price begin to travel higher from there. So I would have taken my trade probably at the midpoint and then put my stop loss just around here, or this low here. Or I would have put my stop loss around this area here, and then my buy position here, and then you see price traveling higher. So that's how I would have taken this trade. Let's say I use my Fibonacci to check if it falls around 62% retracement level. So price almost came at 62% retracement level, but most of it were 50%. That's inside the inversion fair value gap. So that's a whole lot for me, and I love taking this kind of trade because it is framed from higher time frame perspective, and I can see a clear goal that I'm aiming towards. That's the fair value gap up here. So I take my profit around there and I'm good to go. There's not so much I'm looking for. Do you understand? So stop point, maybe rejection block, things like that, or a fair value gap. Price enters into it and invalidates a daily or a 4 hours inversion fair value gap. That signifies to me a change in the state of delivery. And once that happens, I trade the inversion fair value gap higher into the opposing fair value gap, such as it is here. It's a kind of trade I love taking, and I love to see them pan out so much. I love this kind of trade setup. Love it very, very well. So you want to also take note of all of these things, and it's a whole lot anyway. And I would have even much more love to see price enter into this fair value gap here. Like enter it in a more pronounced manner, but you can see that price did not do that. Price didn't do that. So I like to take trade from the origin and then drive it higher. Things like that anyway, just so we can understand how it is going. So this is the trade setup, although it has not gotten to where I would have wished to take my profit. So it's a whole lot of value here on the 1 hour time frame. You can see that price actually broke through the fair value gap and stay above it with a close candle. These are the times I usually love to see price behave that way. But then this whole stuff that we are seeing here, if you actually want to take this trade even from 1 hour, you could see here that there was an obvious break of market structure here on the 1 hour time frame after hitting after hitting the rejection block. There was an obvious how will I call it now, an obvious break of market structure after price had hit the rejection block. So that was the break of market structure upward after price has hit the rejection block. So price came, broke market structure to the upside. Having seen that, okay, what else can you see? I can show you this for sure, that there was a fair value gap formed. So a break of market structure to the upside, formation of a fair value gap tells me so much volume. And then we can of course see that price traded into the fair value gap, did a little stop on here before we can see the price begin to burst forth, begins to burst the bands of price, moving higher and stuff like that. So a stop on inside the fair value gap is indicative of something interesting I love seeing. So rejection block, break of market structure higher, retreat into the fair value gap, broke through this high and through this high, trade back into this fair value gap. Yes, price traded back into this fair value gap. There's nothing like this. These are setups you want to be looking for. These are setups you want to be looking for. Very good setup. Break of market structure, return to fair value gap, and then price now broke the daily time frame fair value gap that should return price lower. Price broke it through, and then we can see that it returned into the fair value gap. And then on the hourly time frame, there's this little fair value gap. The price retraced to again here. So these are things I love to see in my setups. These are things I love to see. These are the things I study in the market. 1 hour break of market structure, inversion fair value gap on daily time frame, and a whole lot. And we can see that price is actually still moving toward the goal. Towards the goal. These are things I love seeing in my setup, and they are kind of things I love. So if you see a break of market structure on 1 hour time frame after price had hit probably a rejection block or it has hit a old low or a fair value gap, the midpoint or the top of the eye of it. These are kind of trade setup I love. I love to see probably inversion fair value gap on the daily, or coming down to the lower time frame. I want to see a break of market structure on the 1 hour time frame. Once that is given to me, those are kind of trade I like to take. So if I were taking this trade on the 1 hour time frame, my position would have been at the midpoint of this fair value gap, and then my stop loss would have been at this low. This kind of a failure swing. I would have put my stop loss here or here, and then allow it to go as much as it would, so it will go higher. So this stuff came all from, from this low here, took out this high. The next place of retracement was inside this daily inversion fair value gap. So these are things that you really want to be looking for on the higher time frame as trade that would help you, as ideas that will help you take better trades. And just as I usually say it, and just as ICT would have emphasized, we don't see this setup every day. Market has cycles that it must follow to fulfill its course. Those are the cycles we are studying in order to be able to take advantage of the market per time. So this does not happen every day. You want to look for it when it happens and trade it. So the best advice is look for many peers that you can follow, and then these things repeating them. I can prove it. I've taken trades like this over and over again. Do we understand? So these are trade ideas you want to take. These are trade ideas you want to take. Like, they are big time, very useful. Very, very useful. You can see the price is still moving higher. On the 1 hour time frame, I want to kind of see price trade into this fair value gap here. This will even be today's trade. And then this is coinciding with so many things. Price is reacting for this fair value gap, broke this structure higher. It's like another block. Can you see that? Another block. And then if price should retrace into that place, I'll be much willing to trade it into the fair value gap higher here. So these are the ways I actually trade the market, and it's a whole lot of opportunity to trade profitably. A whole lot of opportunity to trade profitably. So we can see that we started this analysis from a higher time frame perspective. That's where you frame it from. And I've said that I love seeing probably rejection block and a weekly fair value gap that has not been filled. So I'll already be anticipating that, okay, after the formation of this fair value gap, I want to see price trade back into fair value gap like this. These are trade ideas I usually love to see, and I like them. I love them very much because they will give clear indication that they want to travel higher, especially on the daily time frame and on the 4 hours time frame. You will definitely see that a break of market structure or an inversion fair value gap, as the case may be. Do we understand? So, and I said that it does not happen every week because market has their different cycles, and it is not every week that fair value gap and old low present themselves. So you want to know this and take better trade. So this is a whole lot of value I'm bringing here, and I want you to take note of it. These are how I take my trade, and is how I take my trade using ICT concept. And then back to the daily time frame, you can see price hits the rejection block lower, invalidated this fair value gap, and then we'll see price moving higher. So these are things you really want to be looking out for. These are things you really want to be looking out for on the chart. Yes, I really love this kind of things on the chart. So price hitting the rejection block invalidated the fair value gap, making it an inversion fair value gap. And then price begins to travel into this fair value gap. Once price gets there, I take my profit out. I'm not leaving it. So I'll be waiting for the next setup that may happen on the next pair and not necessarily this one. So if your focus, what you are looking for is just single, you don't need to disturb yourself. Once you see it, you trade it. Do you understand? So you want to invest your time, you want to invest your attention on many pairs, and then you are looking for just one thing. If what you are looking for is not much, you have consistent trade setup. Consistent trade setup. That's the view. That's what you are looking for. This one, if I start this trade on Tuesday and I drive it here on Friday, that's one trade for me for the week. I don't need to look for another one. Do we understand? So you get the consistent trade setup on one pair. If I should get this one this week, I may not come and look for another trade setup on this pair next week. I'll go and look for it in another pairs because I'm not expecting this pair to give me the same setup every week. It doesn't happen like that. You have to allow it time to still drive, do what you want to do. It will present another setup probably in the using this kind of analysis. It might present setup maybe in the next 2 weeks or in the next 3 weeks, as the case may be. So while it is forming another setup, you want to go and check another setup, another market class to check if they are good setup it can give you. So this is a whole lot, and I want you to take note of it. It will really help you in your trading journey. I'm sure you've gotten a whole lot of value here. So this is Imanic's trading channel. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share. I'll be posting more on your notification bells. It's going to be a whole lot. So till I come your way next time, bye for now.